Let me take it, dude.
Woo! Nice fish, buddy. Great tag fish. Get over there, Manny.
There he is, right there, right there, right there. Yep, let me take it, dude.
Oh, he's coming right out of the boat. Whoa.
Whitey's on board.
Woo! Yeah, baby.
Oh, yes.
There's another one there in the teaser.
This is the Sport Fishing Championship.
We have wrapped up 4 days of competition. Stop number 8 of 10, the Oak Bluffs Blue Water Classic from Martha's Vineyard and Falmouth, Massachusetts, part of the Sport Fishing Championship. We crown winners at each of our stops. We will crown a champion at the end, about a month from now, in Puerto Rico. Martha's Vineyard, they had the playing field in front of them, which is called the Atlantic. I'm Robbie Floyd with Peter Miller, and you look at the Garmin tracker, or the Garmin, how do I say this every time? I do it each and every week. The Team Spotter, our Garmin Team Spotter, and all of our teams out there inside that 130-mile barrier. Let's take a look at our leaderboard as it stands right now. And again, everything we say is officially unofficial. But looking at it, one team started off hot and they finished hot as well. Lights out, 925 points. The Blue Marlin is what did it for them, Peter.
That's right, and of course, Robbie, it was that first Blue Marlin which gave them the extra, but it turns out they didn't even need those extra points because they caught enough to be well on top of the pack.
Oak Bluffs Blue Water Classic, it's a standard event here on the East Coast. You know about it. You know this is pretty much the event. Talking with Damon Sacco that kicked off the 2022 season in this area, and it kicked off in a big way. Let's go out on the water and check out Team T0, one of our featured boats in the field. Again, most of these teams hanging around that shelf right there at the drop-off. We had water moving both ways and looking for those eddies.
That's right. They were trying to fish in that area to get ahead of the pack, and it looks like they did just that because they released a blue, a yellowfin, and they also released a bluefin tuna. And they boated some as well because if you get to a certain size fish, you've got to release it.
T0, that 70-foot Ricky Scarborough. Seth Law is at the helm of that one, heading out into the blue waters of the Atlantic. Again, all of our boats, it's a 4-day event, but they fish for only 2.
You're going to be clearing those lines, making sure your anglers can, get at their fish and nothing's going to get tangled. And that is the move currently. And they're bumping ahead. Drag's ripping. Time to strap in.
We saw a bunch of fish that were non-bill fish in the mix. And again, you don't know what you've got oftentimes. Again, they're going through stuff. He's showing him stuff there. But they've got something on the end of the line. It looked like a tuna, but he's letting out drag. He's pulling either way.
That's right. You can see his finger gingerly placed on the drag lever, waiting for that moment. As they're going away, you do not want to hammer the drag. You want to back it off a little bit. And once again, when they settle, that's when you go to work. And he's about to go to work. They're slowing the boat down. They're about to start gaining line.
Tigan Skoltz on board, Sandy Sanford. Trip tomorrow. Doug Lebda. Tigan reeling this one in. And again, that's kind of winch mode, the bigger reel, different class of reel. And also we're seeing different stuff there with the artificial and the bait at the end.
That's right. We got the squid chain with either a ballyhoo on the back with a little skirt over it, or they have a lure on the back with a J-hook. Let's take a peek. Normally when you see one guy with a gaff and that type of gaff, it's not a monster. You got a good fish, but you don't need 2 guys on the gaff. Obviously someone's gonna be taking video. It's like a reasonable fish here.
There's a fish they're wanting to bring in one way or the other, whether it's an Invincible Boats yellowfin tuna. We've got big eye in there. Several different species that we're looking at this week.
And that is precision gaffing right there. That's in a spot where you're not going to be eating out of. That is an area which is not edible. That's where you want to hit them.
Just like that, you could have something else on. I think we go from the yellow variety to the blue variety and a little bit bigger class and size of fish.
And a pointy nose, a very pointy nose known as the billfish, the elusive blue marlin.
And reeling those in. Don't want to get in the way. That could be a tangle you don't want to deal with.
See how calm they are as that fish is ripping that drag? That's a reel that is well taken care of, well oiled.
Also, when the hook is set, they will be able to have one handoff to an angler, and that angler then has to have it for the rest of the fight.
When you got a fish that far off in the distance, Robbie, and he's pushing that much water as he's greyhounding away and doing that side shuffle, you know it's going to be a big fish. I mean, you can just tell when they're pushing that kind of water. That's got to be upwards of 300 for sure.
And that's kind of what you want to see, that fish up there near the top in that movement. You said you put the muscle to them, oftentimes they'll go down, and then you're in for a different fight. You know, the fights we've seen really weren't that long. I mean, we heard stories of other events where we had one kid battling almost a full day.
Yeah, sometimes when you have like those full day battles, it's the fish is foul hooked. It could be hooked in the shoulders. It could be tail wrapped. And when they're hooked in the shoulders, it's as if they're not even fighting. They don't even know. They don't have a stop button at that point, and you will fight that fish for an ungodly amount of time, and that is a big problem. This fish here was hooked in the mouth, and it's coming to the boat, and it looks to be every bit 350, 400.
And when they do that, that is a qualified catch now. That would be the one billfish they would catch on their weekend. Again, other subspecies, possible championship fish, but this is the one for the sports fishing championship that will give you points.
It's just a walk in the park. It looks like they're walking that dog, like the gentleman right behind the set here walking his dog. They're walking a 400-pound dog behind the boat. They're going to cut this one free, but before that, they're going to retrieve that lure, which caught him, and they're going to redeploy that lure at a chance at another blue marlin or other big species. It's a good sized fish. You can tell by the shoulders there. They're going to revive it, you know, have it swim off. They're going to give it a push away from the boat. You don't want to let it go in the prop wash.
You could tell that fish was pretty darn healthy. It was wanting to get away, and it did just that, and they're happy about it. That was a well-executed run on a blue marlin catch by Doug.
Nice work. Thank you for everything. That's it, boys.
That single blue marlin unofficially should put them right around 6th place with those 350 points. Again, you get 350 points for a blue marlin, 125 for the white. Spearfish are worth 125. Sailfish 75 and swordfish 75. We would see all of our billfish varieties -1 this week, Peter.
And that's right. We've seen plenty of sailfish along the way, but what we haven't seen is swordfish and spearfish. So this has been a very exciting tournament because we've seen both.
Let's move on over to Bendito. And El Bendito is kind of I don't know, can you say that? I mean, they got to be a favorite because you had both first and second place from last year's event on this boat at the same time. And instead of fighting it out, they were fighting with each other to try and win this event.
That's right, and it's an amicable team gathering. It's a melding of two successful teams, which is what you want to see. Sometimes in these tournaments you have attrition, and these teams kind of fade out and they group on with other teams. It happens all the time, and that's exactly what they did, you know. And they get on the whites, they get on the bluefin, the big eyes, and the yellowfin.
This year, my dear friend Randy, who I've known for quite some time, who I met through these kinds of events, is in the process of getting a motor or motors replaced. And it was his suggestion, because his boat is not going to be ready for in a couple more weeks, that we join forces. And last year, Randy's team finished #1 and our team was #2. And so hopefully 1 and 2 do not equal 3, it still equals 1.
1 and 2 would equal 2. They would get a couple of white marlin in this run. Not the outcome they had last year.
No, but it looks like they had a good time. You know, they caught a lot of fish. They obviously know the rules. They've read the rules, so they know that you want to have 2 big eyes. You want to have 2 yellowfin. You want to release bluefin. You want to catch a blue. You want to do all these things. But, you know, sometimes everything doesn't come to fruition. And then there's that mahi laying around there. There's a whole bunch of fish that you can catch to garner those points. And there's 61 Blackwell.
John Hanglin, I believe Randy caught one as well, who we just heard from. and or about. But again, the white marlin is the second of our marlin species, not the bigger of the two. They don't add up to as many points, but the more white marlin or marlin in general you get, you're going to get more points than the other billfish species.
That's right. It's 50 more points than the sailfish and the swordfish. So, you know, if you can't get a blue, you want to target those whites. If you can't get the whites, go with whatever you can catch. These guys are stuck with the whites.
We saw that at other tournaments like Team Quantified, you know, doing very successful on whites. We saw one event where it was predominantly whites in the Dominican Republic.
Good job, Randy. Thank you.
Great job by all.
Baby, it's a shirt. Woo!
That's his lucky shirt. I think I finally heard something about that shirt.
Tiger Stripe, El Bendito. 250 points with those two white marlin. Again, not able to take the victory this year. It's going to put them right inside that top 10 with those two white marlin. Again, this is a 4-day event. They got to fish for 2 days, whether you pick day 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, whichever. You only had a couple of days to get it done. Now, this final day, they had to be in by 2 o'clock. But the previous days, if that's your final day, you get to come in at 5. I'm thinking those guys that had the longer day of fishing had more opportunity to catch.
That's right. And the guys look super fresh coming off these boats because the water wasn't very rough, and they came back looking kind of like they hadn't been through too much.
And we're on site with Site 1. You saw McDougal's there, the 100 boat slips back behind us, a tremendous facility. He's Peter Miller. I'm Robbie Floyd. And Petey, we saw a lot of catches today. What was our number? 34 billfish in total. That's getting it done, but that doesn't tell the whole story, does it? We saw a ton of other species being caught this week.
That's right. We saw a veritable cornucopia of the tuna species. We've got the big eye, we got the albacore, we got the yellowfin, we've got the bluefin, and then of course they're catching skipjacks and bonitas along the way. So we've got a lot on that side. But then of course you got the blue marlin, the white marlin, the spearfish, the swordfish. You know, so basically everything was happening while these guys were out there. This fishery is alive and well, and I just can't wait to get back here and try this out for myself. It's tough to sit at this desk, but we love doing what we do. So next time we come back, we're going to have to get out there, Robbie, and get into some of those tunas, some of those marlin, and just have a blast out here.
And we'll talk about some of the teams that are trying to win the Sport Fishing Championship, but also there are teams not only trying to win the SFC, but also trying to win this event in general. And they were looking for blue marlin because that gives them, even on the local side, that gives them the most points. I believe 300 for the blue marlin. But if you don't do that, you better max out on whether it be a bluefin tuna or the albacore or whatever it is.
Yeah, a couple of the teams did incredibly well with a selection. I'm looking at one of the teams here, and they caught 7 to 8 different species of fish, and they were able to count every single one of them for their count. And that's how they actually got to the top of the leaderboard.
Hey, Peter, there's a team out there. We're not playing hooky. We've been at work all day, but playing hooky, they've been out on the water the past couple of days, and we'll hear from them. We'll see from them when we return to the Sport Fishing Championship on sportfishingchampionship.com.
SFC coverage of the Oak Bluffs Blue Water Classic is sponsored by Seahome Watches, by Smith Optics, and by Fish Razor.
A day out on the water could go great. Or it could have a few minor setbacks. Things could get rough. Or you could lose that $900 smartphone. Whatever the problem, Yugo provides unmatched premium protection for any water sports adventure. Yugo. To get yours, visit YugoWear.com or simply scan the QR code on the screen. And remember, just add water.
So, you want this, but you can't have it without this, or this, or this. Until now, introducing a new way to travel, intranationally. Get all that international charm without ever leaving the country. Right here in St. Augustine, Ponte Vedra. Get all that culture, all the cuisine from that culture. You're welcome. All the gram-worthy sites from that #culture. Right here at home. St. Augustine, Ponte Vedra. Travel intranationally.
When it comes to performance, comfort, and functionality, we've got you covered. Performance apparel designed by anglers to make your time on the water better than ever. Salt Life, the official apparel sponsor of the Sport Fishing Championship.
the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation is honored to be the official charity of the Sports Fishing Championship. Through this partnership and the support of donors like you, future generations will enjoy and benefit from a naturally balanced ocean ecosystem. Our education programs, both in the classroom and online, bring to life the work needed to make sure we have clean oceans for decades to come. Join us today at www.ghof.org.
SFC coverage of the Oak Bluffs Blue Water Classic is sponsored by Sword Fishing Products, by Vineyard Winds, and by Yugo.
Two different launch and weigh-in spots for the Oak Bluffs Blue Water Classic, more commonly referred to as the OBBC, from Martha's Vineyard and Falmouth, Mass. A beautiful setting for the Sport Fishing Championship, stop number 8 of 10. Speaking of that, let's look ahead with Smith Optics, and where are we going at stop number 10, Peter? San Juan, Puerto Rico.
The music involved in this segment is a party already. You know, there's going to be a lot of festivities, there's going to be a lot of fish catching, and it's close to shore. That's what we love about it. We can get our eyes and ears on these fish. These guys are going to be coming back to the dock every day after fishing on these local fads that contain a lot of bait, a lot of biomass.
It's an international event, International Billfish Tournament. We're going to be in San Juan on site with Site 1. We will crown a champion. It will be the first ever Sport Fishing Championship winner.
As you see that dredge go by with a dredge cam on it, you see the marlin come up and take a peek. He's getting fired up, and there he is. About 125-pound blue marlin ripping up the surface. But that one right there, Robbie, that's chunky. You can see the shoulders on that one. It's almost like traps on a big jacked-up muscle dude.
It's either Blue Marlin Alley or Billfish Alley, because they make that little run, I think, between Puerto Rico and the DR. And either way, we're expecting some big catches, a lot of catches, much like we are expecting in a few weeks' time on August 6th, the Texas International Fishing Tournament down in South Padre Island. We're hearing reports. And again, it's all about points with the SFC, and you want to have that availability of catching the billfish. We're hearing a ton of billfish are being caught this week.
I am waiting with bated breath to get involved in the Texas International Fishing Tournament, because they are crushing the fish right now in their practice days, and I hope the fish stay there. So when we get there, we're going to see them all.
Okay, let's make the move out to sea. Again, these guys out in the Atlantic, no more than 130 miles out, playing hooky at 10:55, released a white marlin, that 38-foot boat. It's a small one, but this is a local team. They know what they're doing. They've been here. They've done that. And you can see there's some characters on this vessel as well.
We're catching small skipjacks here, right in the spot where we usually catch big eyes. It's a good sign. It's what they eat, and what we plan to do is catch them. So.
Jay, where's the last time you were going to see me do this?
Hey, conservation.
Give me a hand with that, Jimmy.
First false albacore.
Skipjack.
No, false albacore. Is it? Jimmy said it was a falsie. This is a marlin bait right here.
He was wrong on one. He was right on the other.
Listen, as long as they've got the rods bent and the mate is firing on all cylinders, tightening the drag on one fish behind him, hooked up with another fish in front, he's getting it done. That mate is a super mate. That's what you want on your boat at all times.
Ramon Sobrado.
You sure it's not just Ramon Sobrado?
Yeah, it is. I had to throw him. I got to practice, man. We're in PR pretty soon.
All right, but if you're going to weigh him,
He's shaking his head.
wait till we get two.
Shaking his head. He's going. He's acting like a big eye.
Well, Big Al, he's feeling tuna. Big Al says it's a big eye. Is it a big eye?
He don't need no stinking fighting belt for that. He's got it. He's fighting that fish like a champ. He knows his tuna. You know, they're gonna come up, they're gonna race out and go down, and then they're gonna pinwheel back up to the surface. And you got to get him on that pinwheel, on that last pinwheel, and you want to hit him in the spot that you're not gonna eat.
Right there.
Don't go for the bullseye. Go for the head or the stomach.
Now, was he right? Is it a big eye that he brings on board? Again, we can tell it's a tuna, but what kind of tuna? Again, the big eye is part of the local event structure. If it's an Invincible Boats yellowfin tuna and it's a really big one, a 200-plus pounder, it could win an extra $50,000. That's one of our championship fish.
Come on, buddy. Well, I was going for the rod in the far left, and the middle rod went off. So that was a shorter distance to travel. Raymond yelled at me and said, "Take that rod!" Picked it up, started taking some line. Wouldn't stop, brought it all the way back to the nylon, and it was from there on. We just started reeling him in, shaking his head, felt like a big eye. It's a big yellow, so we're happy about that. We're weighing in the yellows,
So we're shifting our plan now because we don't want any more yellows. We're still hoping to get a big eye, but now we're also trying to bring marlin into the spread. So we took the spreader bars out, we're changing those over to different lures, and we're letting out the teasers, which work similar to the spreader bars, but it's a chain of squid splashing on the surface. So change in type of fish, hopefully, that we catch.
Nice tactic change. They're getting away from one type of fish, and what does that mean? I mean, do they go for bigger baits? He's saying they're putting out the bars or wider wise. How do you do that, go from one fish to the other in the same ocean?
Well, Robbie, he's already got his yellowfin. They've already got their big eyes, and now they want to try for another species. Obviously, they're going to pitch bait whatever that comes up, and right now you can see the mate. He's dropping back a rig ballyhoo, a chin-weighted ballyhoo back into the spread because they see a fish back there, and usually you can see if it's a white or a blue. The whites have those just iridescent neon light blue pec fins, and they look like an airplane coming in when they come to eat. Very noticeable. So he's trying not to tangle anything. Obviously, you know, his co-fisherman there is winding in either the teaser or a bait with a string of squid ahead of it.
He sees something.
Back.
Yeah, he sees something.
He's on.
Yeah, you can see the bend in the rod, and he's going to do that one handle pass. Jimmy Ricciardi.
It's a little hug. It's a little hug right before you get that marlin on. You got to give that love back to the guy that took care of it, you know?
He's going to love Jimmy even more if he gets it up to the boat. And this time they were looking for marlin, and that looks to be what they have.
Robbie, I'm going to get you that shirt if it's the last thing I do.
I want it. I do. I can work around the school in the mornings, helping kids out.
You see that gear casing there by the handle there?
Yeah.
That's a lot of gears allowing for that rapid retrieve. That's what that signifies when you see that.
Oh, there he is.
Whitey?
White marlin worth 125 points if they can get that leader up to the boat and make contact with a hand or into the rod tip. That will be a qualified catch, and they will release that fish as well. All of our billfish are catch and release in the Sport Fishing Championship. That's how they get their points.
It's such a great feeling to catch a billfish when you need them. You know, a lot of times you need those billfish and you catch them on your off days, your practice days, your fun days. But in a tournament to catch that fish, it is very special. And they got to be super pumped to get this fish. He's about to get that leader in the tip of his rod. And there's the long arm of the law, the
Done
reach.
Deal. Done deal. Little wrap, and there's right and wrong ways to do exactly what he's doing. He pops it out, and all is well.
Woo! Woo! Whitey's on board.
High five, very nice.
Nice job, Raymond.
Got him on the pitch.
Again, only the single white marlin counts towards points of the Sport Fishing Championship. That gives them their 125 points. It's not going to be enough for the victory, but it will give them championship points, and it should put them just inside the top 15, unofficially in 14th place. We go to our Garmin team spotter, over to our next team, Team Gypsy. And you notice one thing there on day one at 4:08 a.m. they caught a wahoo. We knew it was a big wahoo, but we didn't know how big of a wahoo. But also look at 5:01 p.m. on day number 2. Team Gypsy, they caught a toad. It is a biggin'.
You know, you're getting me kind of stuck on that word big. You know, that's a big.
Bigs.
It's a big. It's a big.
Smalls are big.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting used to it. I'm starting to say it myself. I normally say it's a big one, but you go, it's a big. So anyway, I'm sticking with it. He's got a big on.
Absolutely.
And when they bring that to the boat, I mean, everyone just erupts in celebration, high fives. So I'm just going to lay out here for a minute and just watch this.
That's right.
See him? Oh yeah, he's big. Get him, get him, get him. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. We won the tournament. Get a third gaff on him, Jordan, please. Okay. Oh my God, we just won. Oh, please, come in.
I can hear him now. Oh, Sean. We won this thing.
Please come in.
Oh, Sean.
Please come in.
What a run.
Welcome to our house. This is the cockpit. You'll be sleeping here for a little while. We're going to put you in a giant bag of ice with salt water, which is going to bring the temperature down 8 degrees. That's something people don't know. That's called a slush, and that's what you want to put your tunas in anytime you catch them. Any kind of meat you want to bring home, take to the family, you want to do that. It brings it really down to coolness.
Sean Crowley with the big eye tuna. High fives all around. You can hear that excitement. That's what a big looks like.
That is a big. It's an actual big eye, so it really is a big. It's a 228. Not something you see every day. A lot of the guys were catching 150s, 60s, 70s, 180s. This kind of, 40 pounds heavier than the norm. This is a big one.
Great job, Sean.
Oh my God, Sean. Please come in.
But the only thing about it is this team, they would catch a variety of fish, but only one would contribute towards the Sport Fishing Championship. That white marlin counts for 125 points. Again, they drop in wherever that 125 point puts them, and it is not where they wanted to be at the end of the day in 14th place.
You know what they did, though? They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 species.
That's great. That's awesome. And for the event, that's really going to help their total, but not in the Sport Fishing Championship. Well, things were lights out for one team. We'll see and hear from them when we return to the Sport Fishing Championship here, coming up in just a bit from Martha's Vineyard.
When you're serious, you are as excited to wake up for a 4 a.m. fishing trip as you were when you were a kid. It means winning 3 World Sailfish Championships. It means you know what you need and what you don't. Being serious means seeking out the ultimate fishing machine, which is what Peter Miller has found in the unmatched handling, speed, and comfort of an Invincible.
It's the simple things, like spending a day at the beach, splashing in the water, playing in the sand, and creating sandcastle masterpieces. Rediscover fun and family on the beautiful white sand beaches of Gulf Shores and Orange Beach.
Whether you like to ride the wind, find your secret cove, or reel them in. Plot your paradise with GPS Map Series from Garmin.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
It all comes back to the water. This binding agent. This fluid history of connection. Past, present, and future, all tied together through this never-ending, unwavering force. We belong to a community of seekers, anglers, and everyone in between. For us, it's more than fishing, much more. It's who we are, who we were, and who we aspire to be. We are Smith.
SFC coverage of the Oak Bluffs Blue Water Classic is sponsored by Invincible Boats, by Cypress Cove Marina, and by Salt Life.
I'm Callie Williams with the Sport Fishing Championship. I'm here with Dakir Warren, the Executive Director of the Martha's Vineyard Boys and Girls Club. Dakir, give us a little idea about the Boys and Girls Club and what it means for the island.
Yeah, the Boys and Girls Club of Martha's Vineyard has been around for about 85 years now, and it's really concerned with providing a space for youth to really explore, grow, and learn. It's about youth development. It's about preparing our young people to be productive and innovative citizens and equip them with the 21st century skills to be successful and have, great futures.
You bring together activities of all kinds, right? So it's not just activities that they do here at the club, but you try to get them around the island and see what else is there to do, right? So not just activities that they're painting, they're drawing, or interacting with each other, but something that really involves the STEM part of it. So they're here for summer camp, and they're not just learning about summer camp activities, but they're trying to keep the program going with the school.
One of the most important things is really ensuring that kids have access to a diverse, array of experiences. And, in the summer camp in particular, we really focus on programming that supports out-of-school time learning. Most kids experience summer learning loss, and, so being able to address and support the enrichment in the areas of reading and math, and do it through the lens of really fun and engaging activities that are both project-based, but also exploratory in nature. Obviously, summer camp is about sports and recreation and, all of that fun stuff, but there's also a way to wrap around really incredible learning opportunities. And so with our STEAM programming, with our music and our arts, and bringing in, folks from throughout the community to make sure that, kids are doing more than just playing. But even when they're playing, they're learning, and growing.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time today, and
thank
thank you for your volunteers and your staff for doing what they do on the island for the Boys and Girls Club and for the kids that are here.
It's awesome tying those two teams together. We went over there and saw it yesterday. It is a really cool program they have put together.
It was nice to get a chance to go see that. I had the chance to donate when I was out in California, and it went over really well. Someone bought a fishing trip, and really happy to donate that.
We're at the Oak Bluffs Blue Water Classic, two different venues to take off from. One is Martha's Vineyards in Oak Bluffs, but on our side, where on site with Site 1 has been Jordan Schemenor doing a great job as the dock master, as always, helping us out. Tim Cohan, the marketing manager, we spoke with him a couple of days ago. This facility is top-notch in Falmouth. Brian Dries, he was over there working with the rigging, the crane operator, the other Damon, Jeff McDougall, the general manager, get to see him as well. But if you're in the area, if you're boating through the area, you need to stop by and check it out, Peter.
Yeah, it's very well maintained. They have a fuel dock. It's clean. It's friendly. They've got the weigh station, and they're very accommodating. You know what I really noticed? The lavatories, super clean, and a shower, and the laundry. I mean, this place is firing on all cylinders. My new favorite thing to say.
Christian Giardini and Damon Sacco, they were taking care of things on the other side of the pond over there at Martha's Vineyard. We've been here pretty much the entire time. We get to go back and forth. I'm a Texas boy. You're a Florida boy. You spent a lot of time here as a kid. I'm going to come back. I don't know. I mean, you're wanting to stay. You're saying, I wonder if I can push my flight back, because you saw what happened out on the water.
Well, they're teasing me with rebuilding this tunnel near the airport, and they're saying you might have a big delay. You might miss your flight. If I'm going to miss my flight, I'm going to miss it for a good reason. I would stay on here and catch a couple of tuna, bring some food home for my wife, and we'd have a nice sashimi dinner.
We saw some things like some massive wahoo that you've never even seen the size of these wahoo before. There's striper out there, striped bass, a lot of things to choose from. Again, the Sport Fishing Championship, we're all trying to find that big fish out there, the billfish. Our Garmin Team Spotter picks up our next team, Team Miss Wilder. And you can see on day one of their tournament, yellowfin tuna, Yeah, that could be an invisible boat yellowfin tuna, but the white marlin's where you get the points.
That's right. They get those. They got those 2 whites, 2 yellowfins. They got a mahi, and they have bluefin releases as well. That's a 60 Hatteras. That is a nice sled they're on. I can call that a sled, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They're putting the Wild in Miss Wilder, aren't they?
They sure are.
Based out of Osterville, Mass. Scott Clay steering that vessel.
Staying calm, clipping in, getting ready for battle. Drag's ripping, going ahead, bumping ahead, keeping tight. You know, it's that give and take. Everybody's watching everybody's moves.
Well, they're going to no other lines out, it looks like. Make hay while the sun shines while you can, right?
As that fish lays on the surface, kind of paddling away, not freaking out. They want to go back on them quickly and take up that slack as quick as they can.
Nice communication between the mate and the captain there, too. It's the choreography.
Get closer, Howard! Get closer!
Big one.
Identify the marlin.
What we got, Peter?
Yep. Okay, you gotta watch it swim. Yep.
We got a white marlin eating that black and blue lure. You know, obviously they want to retrieve that lure. They want to get that hook out of the marlin's face and let it swim off. They want to push it away from the prop wash and from those props out to the side.
Now these whites aren't they're not as big as the blues. They're still feisty, and they're going to get that lure back.
Yeah, typical size on these whites are, you know, 60 pounds, 70 pounds. The world record, I believe, is 2+. That's a rare size.
JJ and Howard both caught white marlin for this team this week.
There you go. Revive, quick revive, and push it away. Spiritual revival.
Hey, John. Let's go. All right, let's get it. That was sick, Alex. Swimming next to the lure. Yeah. Oh, sick. Let's go. Good job, boys.
And when he says that, he wasn't coming straight from behind. Everybody thinks they always come straight from behind, but you've told me many times that's not the case. They're almost side swipers.
That's right. They come up and do that going away eat. They come up, they look at everything, and you think they're going to leave with eating nothing like a window shopper, and they turn, they see that first bait, and they pounce on it. It's that third wave I like to put it in when they're doing that, and they come back, and just that going away eat is usually very successful. But this one was kind of side-eyeing it. But it looks like they have another white marlin on right now.
Howard, keep reeling. Don't scratch your head. Howard, keep reeling. Howard, keep reeling. It may not be a marlin.
Their first one they caught at 825. It was only 850 when they caught their second one. So they were in the right part of the water, weren't they? I mean, to catch them that quick, nearly back to back.
Yep, birds of a feather flock together.
Hold on. Come to this side. Come to this side.
Ooh.
Hold on. I want him to calm down for a second.
I believe that's Howard Kessler.
Be careful, everybody.
JJ Archibald caught the other one.
And you see that black and blue lure in his mouth.
Don't pull his head up.
Always a good idea to have gloves. Always a good idea to have glasses. You don't want to get that hook back in the face.
Now the pointy thing at the end of this billfish, not as much as a problem as other billfish. This white marlin, they're not as concerned, but if it were a sword, different story.
A sword, different story. Yeah, and they could do some damage to your boat. I've seen them tear up boats, and I had a friend, you know, hit by a 600-pound marlin bill by the side of the boat, looking up, taking a picture, and you just got to be careful.
That would be bad. Miss Wilder, 2 white marlin, 250 points for them. Again, everybody trying to get the max points, and they did well. They just didn't finish on top of this event. Unofficially, that should put Miss Wilder in 8th place. Again, everything I say is officially unofficial, Peter.
That's right. It's exactly right. They have their 60 Hatteras.
Team off-site, and look at that. Landed a swordfish. We don't know exactly when. That 5:01 time means it was actually when they brought it in. It looked to be, but that is our first ever swordfish that we know of on the Sport Fishing Championship. But oftentimes you would say some of these guys are going to go out at night and they're going to catch one. That was the case with this team.
This is a great way to put points on the board. Sword fishing at night is a great way to spend the evening, catching tuna, swords. You know, that's what you want to do. And as soon as the sun comes up, you want to put them out for marlin. But getting this sort at night is a fantastic idea, you know? Someone's got to stay awake. It looks like the entire team's awake. I've been on boats where it's just one guy, two guys, the rest of the team sleeping, and you got to stomp and bang. These guys are all awake and ready to go.
Got him. Good work, boys.
Now again, in the Sport Fishing Championship, it is a catch and release, but when they're bringing this fish on board, this one is coming back for the local event itself. I mean, this would be a meat fish. That's good money on the line right there.
That's right. That's a you know, sustainable fishery right there, the sword fishery. It's amazing how they've rebounded and how many you can catch in a single day if you really know how to target them. It's not uncommon to catch 6 in a day.
For the SFC, the one white, the one sword puts them with 200 points. That's 11th place. But again, a great job by all of our teams, but somebody's got to win this bad boy. And when your team lights out, and you literally are lights out from the get-go, you've got things going your direction. White, blue, yellowfin, they're catching them all, but those 2 blue marlins and the first blue marlin, that's special.
Hey, forward. Dredges.
Big boy, Peter. It's a big.
That is a big one.
I see you're coming my way.
Don't convert me.
Tucker
harness.
Oh, yeah. I'll say Tucker Carmichael listed as the angler on pretty much all of these catches of all the varieties out there. I mean, this is a young kid. He kind of reminds me a little bit of you.
Yeah, but yet
I'm
35 years younger than me.
Yeah, just like you, but different.
Yeah, I'm like a decrepit
And then we'll have everything
Tucker.
in the boat.
That is a 2-speed reel. You asked earlier about single speed, 2-speed. You know, they obviously pitched. I have a feeling they pitched a big bait to this fish when it came up because they have that big tackle out there, and that's what you want when you see a thrifty 400.
That was.
Rob Carmichael kind of running the show. They're out of Florida. Isla Morada's their home.
Yeah, they are out of Florida. I fished against them many times in Miami.
Right there.
There it is.
Little Yankee there to try to get him to jump last minute to get one extra shot, just showing how great this fish is.
And that gets him up to the top?
Try to get through that.
Well, he's on the top. They just want
If you want to walk
the water show his face.
Bring him around this side.
Watch out, Ross.
Got to get his attention. You see those wraps. Again, this fish has a ton of power. You've got to wrap that leader.
So you can unwrap in case you need to.
Just like a bull rider. I mean, but different, of course. But again, they're trying to catch these fish, but you don't want the fish to catch you.
Nice job, B. Thank you. Nice job, boys.
Let's take another look at that jump, Robbie.
Yeah,
I can't take it. Let's do it one more time.
That was awesome. The first time I saw this and you saw this, we looked at each other and went like, wow, this is a big fish coming towards the boat. Shaking that head. I mean, that's some girth.
Look at that hang time. He's doing a little Michael Jordan. He's got his tongue out. He's up in the air, just laying up there. Shoulders. He's got boulder shoulders. Look at that. Oh,
we haven't seen one really wag quite, like that one coming straight at us. We've seen it going away or to the side, but not really coming right at you.
This is an angry elf. This is an angry marlin.
Trying to spit the bit.
That's right.
We talked about how they were lights out. This is the case. 2 blue marlin worth 350 points apiece, plus the white marlin worth 125. And that bonus, everything's officially unofficial, and that bonus itself is from catching the first blue marlin of the tournament. They're going to look through all the scorecards. We'll make sure that those timestamps, you saw those video cameras, that's what they're doing. They're trying to identify when those fish are caught, and they have to stay in constant contact the entire time. And looking at the leaderboard as it stands, again, this final day, everybody returned to Oak Bluffs, but lights out with 925 points, Scup Slayer, and this is the Sport Fishing Championship point structure. The event is done a little bit different, a lot of different subspecies, but lights out looks to be lights out and another winner on the SFC.
You know, as I look at these names and I recall their fish catches based on everything we've been looking at, it just reminds me of how special every single team is in their own way. Whether it's the platform they're fishing on, whether it's the team they're with, the people they're with, or whether it's the fish they catch, each one has a really unique story.
Absolutely. And what was our last catch of the day today that we saw? Fortunate. That team came in.
252-pound swordfish.
252 pounds. I'd never seen a swordfish until yesterday. How big was that one? About 100 pounds, right around that range? 101, I think it was?
That's right. Scup caught a 101.
A 100, I'm like, man, that's a big fish. That's awesome. And this thing, 1.5 times that. It's amazing. And the thing we've been talking about with these points and our structure with the Sport Fishing Championship, it's based off of the billfish. We have our championship fish, and that's more like what the event's looking at. That swordfish they bring in add up points. The bluefin tuna added up points. And it looks like Fortunate may take the event title while we have Lights Out winning the SFC.
That's right. There's a lot of things going on in this tournament because we're working a tournament with the SFC and with Oak Bluffs, and there's a lot of fish being caught. You know, we're focused on our billfish, we're focused on our championship fish, but the tournament has their own set of rules as well, so they may take it with all the fish that they caught. They have a lot of weight with that 252-pound fish.
Absolutely, and we also had a change in one of our championship divisions. We had a massive wahoo being caught here at Martha's Vineyard. Jordan Sanford, 103-pounder. Marisela Echeverria, we're going to have to see if she can turn it up in Puerto Rico about a month from now. We've got one more stateside event, Peter. I'm ready to call.
Let's go to Texas.
South Padre Island. They are catching them now, and they will be catching them then. Texas International Fishing Tournament, August 3rd and 7th. If you live down in the Rio Grande Valley, come out and join us. We'll find out, see who's on site with Site 1. Peter, it was a tremendous fishery. They proved it. This is the kickoff to the New England fishing season.
And I'm going to be having to come back here, myself or with you, and we're going to have to catch some of these fish. We'll go out to the canyons and crush some of these fish up here out of Martha's Vineyard in Oak Bluffs.
Thank you, Oak Bluffs. Thank you, McDougals. We will be back again. Thanks for watching the Sport Fishing Championship.